Stay tuned and let's check out this Marvel Legends Gamerverse Spider-Man 2-pack with Mr. Negative and the Inner Demon. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember, you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Spider-Man 2-pack with Mr. Negative and an Inner Demon, who is essentially an army builder. So this pack is of course inspired by the Spider-Man PS4 game, which is now available on PS5 as well. But it's also an opportunity to add Mr. Negative to our collection, as he is a comic character we haven't really got. So I will be asking the question, can this guy fit into a comic display, even though it is definitely a Gamerverse figure, as you can see the logo there on the box. But we do have the PS4 Spider-Man. We also have a couple of variant suits from that same game, so I will do some comparisons in this video. But first things first, people are going to be asking, Dan, how did you get this? Well, there are no GameStops in the UK, so that means it is not exclusive to GameStop over here. I got mine from In Demand Toys, and it is in stock, available right now. If you are in the UK, I will put the link in the description. Shout out In Demand Toys as always. So here we have the plastic free packaging. You even get the plastic free logo down here, and you know my thoughts on this. Not the biggest fan of it. I definitely think the digital renders on the front are pretty boring. Maybe a comic image or something, I don't know, but it's not there. We're not quite there yet is my point. But then we get Mr. Negative and an Inner Demon, that Spider-Man logo from the PS4 game. On the side we get an actual image from the game. On this side we get a digital render. On the back of the box, more digital renders. And the one element I do like about this packaging is that you get a little box that tells you all the accessories that are included in the packaging, because sometimes even with the window on the front you do miss things, so I like that. But that's about it, and there's no write-up, no bio. We got the Spider-Man logo up top. But yeah, this is a Gamerverse set, so it is inspired from the game. Let's get it open. Here we have Mr. Negative and the Inner Demon out of the packaging with all of their accessories that all came in separate little baggies in the box. Now, there's a lot of accessories to go through, so we will go through these individually. I just wanted to take a moment to sort of acknowledge that, yes, this is a lot of reuse with new heads and new accessories, but you can't be too mad at Hasbro, as the characters in the game are both wearing suits, and the mantra of the Marvel Legends line is all about reuse. That is how we get so many characters out every single year. So I'm not exactly shocked or appalled here, but this is what we've got. We've basically got Tony Stark and Old Man Logan bodies reused to be Mr. Negative and the Inner Demon. So not exactly shocking news here. It is reuse. We know what to expect in regards to articulation and all of that. I do wish, though, Marvel would give us a brand new pinless suited body for 2022 or 2023 and beyond, because these bodies are really hard to stand up, and I'm struggling to get Mr. Negative to just stay still. So without further ado, let's just take a look at these individually, and let's start with Mr. Negative. Starting off with the Mr. Negative head sculpt, which I can only assume is the only new element of this figure. Now, they went for a dark blue, dark navy skin tone, which is a contrast to the black of the suit. You've also got the white hair, the white eyebrows, and you can see the white pupils in the eyes as well, which I think is a pretty good representation of Mr. Negative in any form of media. There is a little bit of detail as well in the hair. There's like a dark shadowing to the sideburns. You can't really see it on camera under my bright lights, but I promise you there is some detail in the actual shading of the hair. Other than that, though, it is obviously all white, but that is accurate to the character. Now, if I remember to in post, I'll throw up a side-by-side image to the video game, so you can let me know in the comments below, does it look like the character from the video game? But for me, this looks like Mr. Negative, so I do think we're going to be able to fudge this into our comic displays, at least for the time being anyway. So let me zoom out so we can see what's going on here. As I said, the head sculpt, simple, hair all the way around is white. The blue skin matches the blue hands as well. And then the white suited body, shock to nobody, is reused. So I've got Tony Stark here just as an example, but this body has been reused multiple times before, so we know what to expect. It is a pain in the ass to stand, and it does warp a little bit over time, but it has got this separate jacketed overlay. If you take that off, Unfortunately, it won't work as a jacketless figure, as you will still have the sculpted jacketed white arms. But the shirt is black, the tie is white, of course, separate piece. And yeah, just pins still, unfortunately, in the arms, pins still in the legs, and then he's got the white shoes as well. So yeah, we know what to expect here. We do get decent double jointed knees, to be fair, but it's like these tiny shoes are just really awkward to get him to stand. It is really annoying. But other than that, there's a swivel at the thigh. Obviously legs will go up. We've had this body now for multiple years, so if you collect Marvel Legends, I assume you have at least one of these in your collection to compare it to. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow isn't bad at all. It's just we've got the big thick pins, and obviously we now like the aesthetic of the pinless look, especially in 2022. But yeah, this is it. So he gets only one set of hands, unfortunately, for Mr. Negative, as they are dark blue, and they are two gripping hands, and he does have some stuff to sort of spruce him up. So here we have all the accessories on Mr. Negative, and it does bring the character to life a little bit more on the shelf and on the display. You can see all this negative energy attached to the figure now. Now, these are new pieces. All this negative energy we've not seen before in Marvel Legends, so there are some new elements to this 2-pack, which I am assuming we will see again in the future. This sword has like a negative energy overlay, so if I take that off the hilt, you can see we can just use it as a plain white sword, no problems at all. He will grip it in the one gripping hand, and if I take that off just for a second, you can see around the wrists now we have this negative energy effect, which again are brand new, and they survive the shake test. Like, they grip the hand really well, and as you can see, it's like a dark black sort of translucent energy, and it just grips around the wrist nicely at all. Again, we have not seen these energy effects before from Marvel Legends, so I'm sure we're going to see these repainted in different colours and used again within the line. But I don't mind that. I like to see new parts and mixing up the accessories every now and then, but they grip onto both wrists. There's the other one, and yeah, it looks pretty good. Back to the sword, all white, no real paint detail there. I think the hilt is a different colour to the actual blade, but only just like subtly. There is some sculpted detail there, but it's all about this new black overlay, which again, sort of like a translucent black-ish, but it is very Venom-esque. Lots of energy going up. It is nicely done. There's a hole there on the end, if you can see, and you stick the sword through like so, and it will go all the way up. Hold it, grip it very tightly, get him to hold it in the one gripping hand, and as I said, it brings the character to life a little bit more on the shelf. So that is everything you get with Mr. Negative. You get the sword, energy effect for the sword, and the 2 energy effects to go around the wrists, but no interchangeable hands, but it looks pretty good like so. Moving on to the inner demon figure. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on the body here, as just like the other figure, it is reused from the Marvel Legends library. This time it is Old Man Logan. Now, this suited body, to be fair, is a little bit thicker, and obviously is a little bit sloppier as well, as he doesn't have the tie on the shirt. So basically, this is the same figure from feet to neck. It is just new heads, and the shirts are a slightly different shade of white. But yeah, basically the same figure, still got the pins, but it is a little bit thicker than the Mr. Negative body, as these are the brutes, these are the fodder army builders of the game. So let's have a look here. So there's the figure, there's the legs, there's the shoes, but it's not about the body. We want to look at these heads. Here we have the first inner demon head sculpt out of the box. Now, I don't really know how to differentiate these. I don't know if they've got any unique names, but this guy is bald. He has no hair, but you can see the strap of the mask that goes all the way around, and the mask is like a separate sculpted piece that's on top, so you do have that dimension of a mask on a head. So I like that. And then you've got the big teeth on this one, and then the black and white is nicely smart, especially the white. Like, if there's any sloppiness, we'd see it. So I'm happy to report that my paint lines look really clean, and yeah, this head sculpt looks nice. But we have options. Here we have our second inner demon head sculpt, and this time he's got some horns on his head. These are quite spiky. When I plugged this head on, it actually stabbed my finger. But again, it's all black and white, and the paint lines seem really nice and clean. He's got 4 horns at the top of his head, a couple sticking out on the neck, which are all separately sculpted, and then this guy's got a little bit of a mouth with the teeth as well. But yeah, all of the heads look really good, to be fair, as I'm going through these. Spin it around, you can see the strap as well. This guy is also bold, and you get the sort of dimension of the thickness of the mask on the face. So yeah, so far so good. So there's mask number 2. And here we have mask number 3, the happy chappy of the 3 figures. He's got some horns on his head as well. This guy's also got some hair as well, but the mouth is open this time. You can see that big smiling grin. Again, the paintwork looks pretty clean on the black and white mask. He's got those big chubby cheeks. And if we spin it around, this time this character does actually have hair, and you can see the strap of the mask sort of sculpted into the hair going all the way around. So you do have a little bit of difference there with this mask, as this is the only head that comes with some hair. So again, if you're army building these, that is where things get a little bit frustrating. Let's look at all 3 heads. So here we have a side-by-side comparison of all 3 of the heads, which all are nicely done. Nicely unique sculpted masks, and the paintwork on them is all very nice as well. 2 bold heads, one of them has a head of hair. You let me know in the comments below which one do you like the best from left to right, 1, 2 or 3. I actually think I like number 3 the most, as he just looks really happy and evil all at the same time. But yeah, the only frustrating thing about this army builder is that it's in a 2-pack, which makes it a very expensive way to army build. Like, if you want to display each one of these heads in your collection, you need to buy 3 2-packs, so you're going to end up with 3 Mr. Negatives, and it's just very expensive. So yeah, this being a 2-pack is disappointing. This being a single pack with 3 heads would have made a lot more sense. So yeah, that's a frustrating way to release the figure, but just looking at these 3 masks, they all look very nice. And for anybody wondering, yes, of course you can use the Old Man Logan body to pop on one of these inner demon heads, and he will fit in seamlessly to a little goon squad here. The only difference will be, of course, the skin tone of the head will not match the hands and neck, but the inner demon does come with an interchangeable set of hands, so you could swap on the hands, and then the only part that would not be matching would be the skin tone on the neck, and the neck also has a little bit of hair, but I think you could fudge it if you wanted it to work. So back to the inner demon, I just mentioned he comes with a set of interchangeable hands, but the set that comes on the figure out of the box is a set of gripping hands, which can sort of work as trigger fingers as well, but we get both of them so we can hold all the weapons. But he does have a set of fisted hands, which are quite thick to be fair, but he is not afraid to get into some fisticuffs with Spider-Man, and he does look quite intimidating there like that. So I do like that, but he has a lot of other accessories, so let's break them down. So this is everything the inner demon comes with. He comes with 2 guns, a baseball bat and a machete, with 2 muzzle flashes that are now in red, and 2 smoke effects as well. And both of the guns do have the barrel that you can put the muzzle flashes and smoke effects in. So I do think everything here is reuse. I don't particularly think anything is new. Some more eagle-eyed collectors out there will have to let me know where these guns have been seen before, but I think everything else has been with like a Punisher or a Black Widow or something. But let's have a look at these on the figure. First up, we've got the baseball bat and machete. Now he can hold either of these in either hand, no problem at all, and grips them quite nicely. Both of them are done in a nice chrome. The machete has like a brown handle, and the baseball bat has a little bit of black down here as well. But both of them look really nice in the figure's hand. Here we have him with the bigger gun, and the more I look at this, the more I think it's brand new. Like, I cannot place the reuse here. So this gun may actually be new. Now obviously at the front here you can put in that muzzle flash, which is now in a red to sort of represent a laser, I guess, from the game. Now he doesn't have trigger finger hands, but if you do get like an X-Acto knife, you can slice that top finger and use it as a trigger finger hand. So a little bit of mod in there, you can make it a trigger finger hand, but it would have been nice to get some with the figure. But there we have the muzzle flash, or you can swap it in for the smoke. Again, this smaller gun, this pistol, this futuristic laser gun may be brand new, it may be reuse, I don't know, let me know, but it will plug in the muzzle flash, and you can see here I did get my X-Acto knife out and just separate the finger there from the rest of the hand to turn it into a trigger finger hand, and it does work a lot nicer. Of course you have the muzzle flash, or you can swap out for the smoke effect. So I definitely see the potential here with this being a great army builder on the display, as between all of the weapons and the interchangeable heads you can make lots of unique looks for the display. It is just going to be a hard to get army builder for the shelf, but they do look good, especially when they're flanking Mr. Negative there in the white suit. So yeah, that looks really good. I'm gonna want to try and track down some extra of these inner demons. But what if we do army build this 2-pack? Can we use Mr. Negative to just be a white suited inner demon? Now that's going to be down to the court of public opinion because there's no right or wrong answer here. It's genuinely up to you. So the head sculpt will pop on to the old body. Now remember, these are not separate masks. These are 3 unique head sculpts. So you can pop it onto this body, but of course the skin tone of Mr. Negative is that dark blue. So the hands and the neck will be a different skin tone to the actual mask head. So yeah, it does pop onto the body, and maybe from certain angles you can get it to work like there, but as soon as you start posing him differently, you will notice the different skin tones. But it will pop onto the body. That means if you do have some other suited Marvel Legends bodies lying around, you could pop on these inner demon heads to create some skinnier army builders for the shelf. And they do look good, undoubtedly. The head sculpts with the masks are obviously a little bit bigger for this body, but that's fine because the masks are a little bit dramatic anyway, and they look a bit more intimidating on that body. But you can experiment. I am going to be very curious to see what people do with this set. Let's move on to some comparisons, and don't get mad at me, I didn't do articulation. You know how these Marvel Legends suited bodies move, but I don't want to upset the tape measure enthusiasts. So let's get the tape measure out. You can see the inner demon stands at about 6.5 inches tall, and the Mr. Negative stands at about 6.25 inches tall. So as you would expect. And to once again confirm, Mr. Negative and the inner demon bodies are reuse from Tony Stark and many others and Old Man Logan. And let's just take a second to appreciate I got 4 Marvel Legends suited bodies to stand up. Hooray! Here we have a couple of other Marvel Legend characters that wear white suits, just like Mr. Negative with Arcade and Jigsaw. And before we get to the Spider-Man comparison you actually want to see, here we have a couple of other Spider-Man Gamerverse character designs that we have gotten in Marvel Legends. One of them's the Velocity suit, and I forget the name of the other one, but these are all technically Gamerverse figures. This is what everyone wanted. Here we have the Marvel Legends PS4 Spider-Man compared to Mr. Negative and their inner demon. Finally, after a few years, our PS4 Spider-Man actually has an accurate villain to go up against on the shelf. Now, if I remember correctly, Marvel did do like a smaller scale 2-pack of these, maybe, but now we have them in the correct 6-inch scale that we all love. And let me move the inner demon out the way so we can just see these two pair off for a minute. I think these two are going to look great on a shelf, but I am still curious, will this Mr. Negative work in a comic display? So yes, these are 2 Gamerverse figures. They work together, of course they do. But we do have some better Marvel Legends Spider-Man bodies that have been released since this one. So let's have a look at that, shall we? Here we have our retro Spider-Man and our brand new Spinneret 2-pack Spider-Man. And as you can see, I think they work really nicely together. If you told me that this was a comic version of Mr. Negative, I wouldn't call you a filthy liar. I actually think it works. And just to cement that point, here we have a couple of Spider-Man villains to show you that Mr. Negative will nicely fit into a comic Spider-Man Rogues Gallery. And again, more comic characters. Here we have the 20th anniversary Captain America and the Daredevil from the Amazon box set. And let's be honest, we need a new Daredevil. Here we have Frogman, Tigra and White Rabbit. And last but never least, here we have Captain Britain and Hal, Fire, Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Spider-Man Gamerverse 2-pack with Mr. Negative and an inner demon. I think that's the most frustrating thing with this 2-pack, is that a very nice, potentially great army builder is now limiting in this 2-pack, as it's got a lot of great accessories which will make for some great display options, but it's in a 2-pack. So it means if you multiply this pack, you're going to end up with lots of Mr. Negatives, and we only need one in our collection. So that is definitely a point of frustration of this 2-pack. But if you move that to the side, yes, this is a lot of reuse, but that's what the Marvel Legend line is about. And I don't see that as a negative. That's part of Marvel Legends' charm, if you will, because after 20 years of Legends, we don't get this many characters if they don't use some reuse here and there. And it makes sense. sense. And when it makes sense, you can't be mad at it. But I do want a new suited pinless Marvel Legend body for the future, as this review took me a lot longer than it should have, because in between takes, I'm just trying to get these two bastards to stand. But anyway, that's my frustrations. You let me know what you think in the comments below. Would you have army builded the inner demon if he was single packed? As I'm sure being in a 2-pack is going to limit a lot of people's wants and desires for their display. Let me know everything in the comments below. But as always, if you like Marvel Legends, and you're in the right place, check out the videos tab, find the playlists, but most importantly, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, don't miss out on a video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member, either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and I'm on Twitter as well at Dan Who Reviews. And until then, I will of course see you on the next one.